Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you could do about it. Today with Coffee with Curry, we got a special treat for you. Our hometown hero is here with me today, and I'm excited about this interview. We get an opportunity to have an up close and personal conversation with Coach Stan Waterman. Many people will often say he has certainly done a phenomenal job with his career. He's done certainly a wonderful job with his life, and we're grateful and thankful that he took time out to be with us. Why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on, and let's get after it.
Good morning, Delaware and surrounding areas. You are now tuned in to this week's Coffee with Curry. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. with new guests every week. So grab your cup of coffee and join us on Coffee with Curry.
And we're back. As I promised you, we have Coach Stan Waterman with us today. Coach, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking time to be with me today.
Absolutely, Pastor. Thank you for having me. And let me start just by giving all glory, honor, and praise to Jesus Christ. And none of this would be possible without Him.
Amen.
And thank you for having me.
Yes. You kept and maintained your faith, and that's just wonderful. Coach, every time we get an opportunity to talk to you, I get excited. You know, I get excited because you're doing so many amazing things, and you have been an amazing person. So before I get too carried away, I want to just get some catch up. What's going on? How things going with Robin? How's she doing?
Robin is doing fine, and thank you for asking. And the feeling is mutual. Thank you, Curry. Anytime I have a chance to be in your presence, I get excited about the things that you were doing here in the community, specifically with Zion Fair in the church. My family, we're all doing well. Good. Again, blessed. My wife Robin is doing wonderfully well. My daughter Paris is back in Delaware now, residing here, doing well with her family. Has blessed us with a 3-year-old grandson, Cairo, who is our latest and greatest joy. Yeah. And things that couldn't be any better.
Yeah, and speaking of your grandson, I saw him because I came to several games, and he really is starting to get into the games. Do you think he's going to be another basketball player?
No doubt about it, no question. His mom's the best athlete in the family, and Cairo, anything with a ball, baseball, football, soccer, basketball, he loves it. Wow. And the opportunity to come down to Dover and catch a game and emulate our guys, and he's just having a ball with it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm grateful and thank God to tell Robin I asked about her as well, because this has been a great joy having you all around, especially in the Dover area now. As we are looking at Stan Waterman, I don't care what you touch, it seems like it turns to gold. I was looking at how, you this year you tripled your wins. I mean, you were handed a team, and being handed that team, you work with what you had. I didn't hear you complain. You just work with what you had, and even for last year, for you to triple your wins is just awesome. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, thank you for the acknowledgement and the recognition. I always say things work out best for those that make the best of the way things work out. Okay. And so we did inherit a team 2 years ago, and now 3 seasons ago, where we kept the team intact. Mm-hmm. We played with the hand that was dealt to us, and we have grown. Last year we tripled our win total. We had, for the first time in DSU's history, I think we won 3 consecutive games in the conference. Oh, wow. So we just had a lot of positive things happening, and things that we were able to build on, and it's the challenge that keeps me going.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I appreciate that so much. And how is the team right now?
We're coming along. We just finished up our summer access, as the NCAA allows us the opportunity to have the guys for up to 8 weeks in the summer. And we had them on campus for 6 weeks. But in addition to, improving our skill work and getting better as a team, we spent a lot of time with team building and bonding and chemistry. I had a speaker series this summer where we invited prominent members of the community to come and talk to the guys about, financial planning, about being a man. Oh, wow. So we did a lot of those things. Yeah. We went and volunteered at senior centers. We volunteered at daycare centers. We volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club. So we just tried to get involved with the community and make sure, and hopefully do a little bit of friend raising, and hopefully have an opportunity for those folks to come back and support us when the time comes.
Yeah, just for those of you who are watching, you may not have caught what he just said, friend raising as opposed to fundraising.
Exactly.
Normally people are looking for $1 or something, but that is very important and very, very, very important for especially a team. I like the fact that you're sharing how the team, you're building it holistically. Mm-hmm. You're not focused on their skill set only. Right. You want that. You want to make sure they have the skills they need, but you focus in on the total person, the total man. And I think this is awesome. Why do you find that that's important for your program or for any program?
Well, I think for me, growing up in the city, there was always somebody, a coach, a teacher, a mentor, a big brother, a pastor, that poured into me. Mm-hmm. And sports and athletics was one way that I really got a lot of recognition. I think a lot of discipline, understood what a strong work ethic was. And I always say that athletics is a perfect parallel for life. Mm-hmm. Same work ethic, same discipline, same characteristics that it takes to be successful on the court or on the field. If you carry that over into the other endeavors and ventures in your life, you're going to be successful. So we've used that game really just to prepare for life. And as you mentioned, holistic is what we're all about. Basketball is just a means. We're trying to prepare them to win that bigger game of life. Mm-hmm.
So do you think that this year will be even greater than last year?
Absolutely. That certainly is my hope and my prayer. As you said, and you mentioned already, we improved our win total. We tripled that last year. We feel like we're growing. The program is growing. The university is growing. The athletic department is growing. And so we're excited about the opportunities and some of the changes that we've been able to be a part of and actually implement down at Del State. Yeah,
you work for a very powerful, I know you have an athletic director. I don't really know your athletic director, but I know the president, Tony Allen, and he's a really strong, powerful leader. And how does it feel? Is that too much pressure on you having such a powerful leader as the head of the institution?
Well, there's pressure in the sense that I knew Tony before I went down to Delaware State, obviously. Okay. And I graduated from the University of Delaware, as did Tony. And so knowing him before, accepting this position and being entrusted with the responsibility of trying to revitalize that program, I don't want to do anything to disappoint or let him down. Okay. He's given me an opportunity, and I want to make the most of this opportunity. And there were some naysayers too who said we can't do it or we won't do it.
Right.
And that motivates me and drives me as well.
I like that because at the end of the day, you're gonna always have those.
Absolutely.
But then they also come around when you are doing well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You also talked about now some of the young people that you have playing for you now. You have any like new, or you, because then last year you brought in a slew of people.
Yep.
How did you do for this year?
So the recruiting class that we have this year, I'll take a second and just kind of run through. We'll have 5 new additions to the roster this year, and we sort of mixed it up. We brought in a mixture of high school players, and we delved into the transfer portal a little bit, which has certainly influenced the college game, and even got a junior college player. So we have a young man that we went into the portal and got a 6'9", 225-pound kid who transferred from Illinois State. He's going to be a difference maker. Austin Andrews is his name, originally from Detroit, Michigan. We're excited about what he's able to do. Yeah. Then we got a young man from Manchester, England, to come in, a 6'8", athletic, can defend, maybe 1 through 4, an older player, somebody who's full of energy, and will help us with some leadership. We had a local young man, Dean Shepard from Tower Hill School. Dean was the Delaware Gatorade State Player of the Year. Fantastic young man, high character, high academics, unselfish, total team guy. And then we get a guard, Daywil Tavares, a young man from the Dominican Republic. Wow. Who I think will be really, really good for us. Strong leadership, can play, can shoot, has got a little swagger with him. And with Daywil, he had a knee injury in his junior year in high school. Some of the big boys who were recruiting him kind of shied away. And we hope and feel that he's healthy enough now that had he been healthy, we probably would not have a chance to get him.
So I think works. We got some. He works in your he works in your favor.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when people reject that, which is great, you're able to pick them up. Because that's one of the things I want to ask you in another segment about how do you prepare for some of these teams who have all this money to be able to buy their players basically, and you have to really go out and work hard, and your coaches to really get whatever you can. But you've really named some very strong players, and it seems like it's going to be a pretty good, interesting season.
Well, we are excited about it, and again, it all looks good on paper. I want to see how well it comes together on the court. One of the things you touched on and mentioned already is the NIL and the national name, image, and likeness that has really changed the landscape of college basketball. So there are layers to it now. And the big boys, the Power 5 schools that have tons of money to throw around, and some of these guys won't want to leave the college game because they're making more money in college than they probably would getting drafted. And we are not fortunate enough to be in that ball game yet at Delaware State.
I like the word yet. I like that.
That is a hope and a dream and a prayer.
Yeah. That's good. But what the 5 you brought in, I'm watching and I'm paying attention to how you are building up the Stan Waterman team. Because I watched you as a high school coach, and you've always had a career of success, but I guess you're bringing in the elements to continue to build upon the Stan Waterman team. You have some returning players as well. Could you tell us a little bit about some of those returning players?
Absolutely. So we got a strong nucleus of returning guys. We have 8 guys returning from last year's team. And now having had the opportunity to be under our tutelage for a year and a half, 2 years, they understand how we want to do things, how we like to do things, what the expectations are. And we expect them to share that and pass it on to the newer guys. We have Corey Perkins, who's a young man that played for me at Sanford.
Is his father one of your coaches?
His father is one of the assistant coaches.
Okay.
Corey will be returning for his junior year.
Good.
Started at the point guard position for us last year. Really cerebral player from the neck up. As smart as it gets. And I always said it was going to be probably about his junior year before he physically caught up with the college game. So I think this might be a year where he will have a breakout. We have a young man, Jevin Muniz, who made the all-MEAC, all-rookie team last year. Jevin's about 6'5", 6'6" from Pennsylvania. Had a great year last year, actually played through some injuries that we weren't even aware of. Had surgery right at the end of the season. He's healthy now, looks stronger, much improved. Ray Somerville was our centerpiece last year, and I say that, no pun intended, our center. 6'10", 6'11", a kid originally from Philadelphia, had gone out to California, transferred back home with some issues, and he's grown. So we have a nice nucleus and a returning group that we think will be strong. I think, Pastor, the biggest recruiting piece we had this year, we have ventured into a new strength and conditioning program at Delaware State. We partnered with Driven Elite. There's Donald Driver, former NFL player, Green Bay Packer wide receiver, 6 or 7-time Pro Bowl guy, has brought in his strength and training and conditioning program. And you can see the difference already that's paying off for our guys with the work that they're doing in the weight room.
Well, MEAC better be careful.
Yes, sir.
Because they still look at you as a rookie.
We're putting them on notice. And
I can't wait. We said that we talked about earlier how sometimes the critics will be there to say, don't do this, they're not going to do that, they're not going to do the other. But one of the reasons why I want to continue to invite you back, because the first year was hard, but people did not realize that you were handed a team. You never complained about it. You never said this is horrible. You never blamed the team. You said we will get better.
That's right.
And you have.
Well, thanks.
And I'm looking forward. As I sit in the stands and I watch now, even the games we've lost, I made sure I watched to see, is this the Stan Waterman team, or is this him still transforming them to become? And I see it constantly. They're transforming, and you can tell your coaching ability is unbelievable. There's certain schools, just so you know my personal interest, there are certain schools I can't wait until we can smash them, if I can use that language.
Absolutely.
Because I usually travel around. Sometimes you'll see me show up at some of those games when we're not at home, because there are certain coaches or certain schools or administrators that I've always had a rivalry with. And one particular school, I'm not gonna say nothing yet, I'm gonna wait. But the moment, if you see me at a game away from home, that's one of those schools. And when we smash him, because we almost did it this year, I want to make it clear, because he had some. It wasn't a coach, but it was one of the administrators who had some conversations saying, Stan is not going to be able to do anything. He's not going to be able to do anything. And when I was able to start bragging about he tripled his win, and this year he's coming after you, I believe that. I stand firm on that, and I want to be one of those people who was on your side before you got to the victory, because you're getting there.
Well, thank you.
You're going to get there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad this conversation is going really well. I want to come back, and when I come back, I really want to just spend some time talking about the program and where you planning to take it. You kind of touched on it a little bit now, but just so the community will see and hear that it's not over.
That's right.
I mean, we've only begun this dance.
That's right.
And I want to make sure people know that this dance has just begun. And for those of you who think that it's just going to be the electric slide, no, we got some other stuff that's going to happen in this game. We'll be right back.
Tune in at 8 a.m. every Sunday for our worship services. Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church. We are Wilmington's most exciting church. Join us at 9 a.m. on Facebook Live every Sunday by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church.
Jesus felt what you're feeling, but he did not sin. Am I in the word? Have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin.
We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
Hi, I'm Stan Waterman, head men's basketball coach at Delaware State University. Enjoying the opportunity to be here today with Dr. Curry, having an opportunity to speak about our program down at Delaware State University. Again, we've asked for supporters. Come on out, support us financially, friend raising, come on out to games. We just need your support in the stands. However you can do it, get behind us. We are looking to do big things in 23-24. Thank you.
And we're back. Great conversation. Got Stan Waterman here, and we're enjoying each other. I'm kind of like in glory time, because people will look at the end result and say, well, they lost this amount of games, they lost that. I look at the fact of the progression. You've never been a person who stayed at a level. You always went a little high. Even when you're at the peak of your career, you always went a little bit higher. And that's the Stan I know. So that's why when you come back every year, I'm just constantly saying we're doing better. And for you, I was hoping to say you doubled. Yeah. But you tripled, and that's just to be commended. So today, for those of you who are watching, get ready. Del State is going to be going even further than where they are. I want to start off by talking about, y'all have a big game coming up on November the 6th. It's going to be a televised game, I believe, but how do you play against those powerhouses? Now, not that they have better coaches, not even sometimes better players, but they got so much money to pump into their programs. How are you able to even play against them?
It's interesting. I mean, as we prepare and you take your off season, the work that you do, the strength and conditioning stuff, the work that you do on the track, all the things you do to prepare for your season, you're really beginning with the end in mind.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about where we are and where we need to get to and how we're going to get there.
Okay.
It's a process, right? So we open up the season, we're trying to figure out what are our systems and how do they work and when can we use them, and develop a rotation and try to figure out what guys are going to be able to give us. You talk about the levels involved in Division I college basketball. Penn State is major college basketball. NCAA tournament, actually, and advanced a few rounds in the tournament last year. Bryce Jordan Center, just playing in that facility is an eye-opener for a lot of our guys. And so the experience of being able to play in front of thousands and deal with some adversity, and knowing that the deck is pretty much stacked against you, when they invite you for that opener, you know, you're the meal. You're part of the menu. That's the way they view you. And our goal is always to go in and upset that meal and upset the apple cart a little bit. So, but we really want to come out of it not letting the scoreboard determine whether or not we won the game. I'm a competitor, and I'm definitely going in. The objective is to win. But I really want to see if our systems are working, how far have we progressed, and how much we have improved since the start of the season.
Yeah, and I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of times people will say, why are they playing a Penn State? But the end goal is to make sure you continue to perfect your team. So there are some things that you will learn from that game. That when you play in the people who are allegedly on the level like MEAC and things like that, you'll be able to be more prepared for even those games.
And it's a measuring stick, right? It's a barometer for us, and not just for us as coaches, not just for our players, but for our administration, for our university, to see how the big boys do it. And if that's what we aspire to be, we've got to have a vision to be able to say, this is how it's done. This is what their locker rooms look like. This is what their facilities look like. This is how their game event managers conduct and handle situations. So all of those experiences, I'm looking and I'm learning and I'm taking notes and saying, yep, this is what we don't do. This is what we need to do. And so we're learning and growing every time we have an opportunity to do that.
Okay. And for those of you who are big time donors out there, you know, you can donate directly to the men's basketball program. So we don't want to miss that moment either, because if you're paying attention to the coach, he's very humble and he's sharing all the wonderful things that he wants to expose his team to and expose the university to. But what about, you know, those of you who are donors out there, and there's no reason why Del State could not have a state-of-the-art facility. The gym that we're in is old. I said that, he didn't say that. It's just old, okay? They did add some things to it. I mean, they put a new weight room in there and things of that nature, but to build a state-of-the-art facility would be just wonderful. So if you got a couple extra $1 million just chilling, or you know somebody who got a couple extra $1 million, throw it towards the athletic department, and definitely directly towards the men's program. Tell us, just for those who may be watching, some of the strengths that you feel you have with the team you got, and some of the concern or challenges that you may think you may face, but I know you'll get over them.
Yeah, well, so number one, I'll start with the challenges first. And you've already touched on some of the things, facilities in terms of recruiting and attracting young people to Delaware State. Facilities is a major factor when you're recruiting guys and you're bringing players in, and prospective families and parents are coming in and they want to see, what do the dormitories look like? Where's my son going to be living? What's the gym look like? I mean, how many does it hold? I mean, ultimately the game's got to be played on the court, but those are the factors that our young people and families are looking at, and those are the things that people are wowed by. And right now we're playing in Memorial Hall, which gives us a little bit of an advantage, and you know, when we're playing there, because it's tight, it's cramped, and I actually like it, but we are desperately in need of an upgrade in our facilities. But that's one of the major challenges. The other one we touched on a little bit earlier. We talked about NIL, the name, image, and likeness in terms of recruiting. It's all the theme around recruiting. The funding that's available, and it comes down to dollars, right? And so the major universities and the big time folks are able to now pay athletes for their services. Basically, it's not amateur athletics anymore. And again, at Delaware State, we're working on trying to get to that level. You talk about the schedule that we put together. We have to compete right now against, I want to put those guys on the schedule because, again, it gives us exposure to how it's done, but it's also beneficial to us in terms of recruiting. When I'm sitting in the living room and trying to convince a young man to come, they ask, who do you play? Who are you playing? You know, and they want to make sure you're playing Villanova and you're playing Penn State and you're playing at the University of Texas. When they hear that kind of raises your status and puts you on par. So we have to continue to be able to sell our university and talk about all the wonderful things that are happening at Delaware State. And opportunities that are available, and like I said, make the most of those. The strengths for us right now, I feel like there's an opportunity to grow with the university, for somebody to get in at the ground level and say, I was a part of that when they turned it around. I think about our team in particular. We got 8 guys returning now. That's a strength for us. We're familiar with each other. They know me. I'm no longer new. My coaching staff is returning intact. We know the league now. We've been through it a few times. And so that helps us, and that becomes a strength. So it really is about how well we are able to put it all together, see it come to fruition. And I think for everybody involved, administrators, players, coaches, community, patience is a key.
Right.
It doesn't happen overnight,
No.
and you can't turn a program around in 2 years. It's going to take some time.
But you know, and while you are absolutely correct, you have turned the program around.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm not saying it because you're sitting in my face. This is something I say often. I've not really heard many critics, to be honest with you. But the truth is, progress is progress. There are people who believe that unless it's totally a national championship, that's the only way you've done anything.
Right.
Those persons are out of touch with reality. But to see you take Delaware State from literally just being not doing well in their men's program, men's basketball program, to really going, even the first year, those wins were important.
Yeah.
They were important. That helps to boost the morale somewhat. But to triple it thereafter is really something to speak to. And for those of you who are watching, it's important that you understand that no, we will not become the national champion. First of all, if that happened, we'll lose him. So we don't want to lose him. We want him to stay around for a little bit longer, but it's going to get there though. Yeah. It's going to get there, and I want you to continue to have success. But we want him to build it so they can, so you can show people like myself who's out trying to continue to build upon the trademarks that I have. That it takes time, but you will get there.
Absolutely.
Patience, as you shared.
Absolutely.
So I don't think we're gonna have too many people coming at your neck saying, "Oh, you didn't win enough games for me." You tripled your numbers, and I want to keep saying that because I want that to really marinate in the spirit of people. That you know what you did you and your coaching team did a phenomenal job, and I'm watching how y'all constantly becoming the Stan Waterman team. And it's going, this year is going to be an interesting year, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm a season holder, and I'm already ready to be there. You know, and just here now. I don't get there all the time, but I get there enough to see enough. Let's talk a little bit about your coaches, because I know that well, one of them I know you've been around a while, but let's talk a little bit about your coaches and let me know a little bit about them and let the community know a little bit about them.
Sure. So, and Pastor Gray, when you brought me on a couple of years ago when I was first hired, and one of the things you heard me constantly speak about was culture, and changing the culture and establishing the culture. So one of the first challenges I had was to put together a staff, and I wanted to put together a staff of good, quality, God-fearing men that knew some basketball and could help me coach.
Sometimes that's a hard combination.
Absolutely. It's tough to find. So I brought along one Coach Shahid Perkins, who had been with me at Sanford for 9-10 years. We coached together. Shahid and I both products of Wilmington East Side, grew up on the East Side. So we were kind of cut from the same cloth. And I think when you're looking with assistant coaches, the number one trait you look for is loyalty. Somebody who's got your back. And I don't care what you all say back in the office. When you come out front, you're on the same page.
Good.
And he's loyal. He's got my back. I don't ever have to worry about that. And he knows some basketball. He's coached at Glasgow High School for 10 years. He's played professionally over in Europe and brings a wealth of experience and knowledge in terms of helping with our player development. Horace Owens was the senior in the group, a young man, and I'm going to call him a young man that we brought in from Philadelphia. Horace Pappy Owens was a basketball legend, McDonald's All-American, an NBA draft pick, coached at LaSalle for 14, 15 years. A lot of experience, knows everybody in the tri-state region. There's not a place, a gym or building that I can't go into that somebody doesn't say, "Oh yeah, you got Pappy," and it's multi-generational. Talking about grandparents, parents, kids, everybody knows Pappy. That opens doors for us when we're trying to recruit, and so that's another piece of the puzzle. And then Vernon Dupree. And not many people know this, and sometimes I even hesitate to say it, but that's my son-in-law. And he's coming from Wilmington University, where he's coached for 10, 12 years. Outstanding, a whiz. We call him MacGyver. For some of the young folks, you might not remember that TV show, but MacGyver's a guy who could build a bomb out of a cardboard box. That's Vernon. He can fix and repair everything, anything. A whiz on the computer, organizationally strong, and again, knows some basketball. But these guys are all first good men, fathers, husbands, brothers. And so they're the perfect role models for our young men to see. And that's what I wanted to make sure I started with putting that in front of our guys to help change and shape the culture.
You know, as you were talking, I was thinking you have built administratively a real team. You talked about God-fearing, talking about loving their family, being family men. That matters, especially in the African-American community where it's such a void in that area. God-fearing, family, loyal to the family. Those things matter. And because of who you are, I knew you would center yourself around people like you. You know, somebody had shared with me, I shared with them that you were going to come onto the show, and they sent me a post you had put out during the time of your wedding anniversary.
Okay.
And I think, I can't remember the exact quote, but I know the end part of it says, it begins with making the right decision or something of that nature. Do you remember your quote that you did on that?
No.
but it basically said, you know, you make the right decision, and that's how you can stay together in essence. So I was like, this is just awesome, because that does matter. And you having men around you who are men, who understand basketball, because sometimes you can't get both things, or
that's right.
Fearing God.
Yep.
How do you get all of that together?
That's right.
But you were able to do that because of the person you are. And I continue to give you the accolades, because that's important. That they understand the head. If the head is on tight enough, the body will begin to react the way it needs to react.
Well, thank you. Again, we're a unit, and I wanted to add people, you know, who could help maybe in the areas that shored up some weaknesses that I might have. Okay. And Pastor, I would be remiss if I didn't say I've learned a lot from watching you and the team that you put together here in the organization and what you've done at Eastside Fair Church. I grew up in this church.
Yes, sir.
Born and raised, baptized.
Yes. Your family is a very our name in this church. Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that. But listen, we're going to take a quick break. I don't even want this interview to be over, and we're going to come back and we're going to just talk a little bit about, you know, MEAC, and we're going to talk about, because you're still the young coach, you know, there, but you get ready to start smacking some people. And I want to talk a little bit about the University of Delaware. Are y'all going to play them this year? But we're going to deal with that when we come back. We'll be right back.
Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube every Sunday by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church.
Oh my God, help me today. Which means every storm is a school. Every trial is a teacher. Every experience is an education. And every difficulty is development.
We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
News all across the nation. Wilmington's latest headlines. Advocating for change in the community with Dr. C.T. Curry, Kobe Owens, and Shanae Darby. Tune in to The Source every Sunday at 5 p.m.
And we're back. Great conversation, great person. It's just wonderful. It's a shame that we only have 1 hour to really go through this. But Coach, you are from University of Delaware.
Yes, sir.
And we say boo to that. That's the only thing I'm gonna boo you on. But are y'all gonna play? Are you gonna play your alma mater this year?
Yes, we will. So the game that they have dubbed it the Route 1 rivalry.
Okay.
So that will be on our schedule for years to come. We will play the Del State, University of Delaware game, and we'll alternate home and away. This year, the game will be played at Delaware State University.
Okay, let's get ready, y'all.
Down in Dover. We're looking forward to it. There was some talk early on about possibly playing the game here at the 76ers Fieldhouse. And I said, no, this is our opportunity to host, and we want them to come on down to Dover, and we'll give them a warm welcome. and looking forward to the opportunity to compete.
Yeah, and now, Coach, we know that you're a man of integrity, so you're going to make sure that we give it all we got to beat them. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no ties to UD in that regard. They
Right.
know where my heart stands, but they know I'm bleeding right now. It's horny red.
Okay, I like your answer. You sure you're not running for a political office? So with the University of Delaware, let's talk a little bit about that game last year. What do you think? Give me your assessment of that game, if you will, if you can remember the game.
Yeah, no, I can remember it vividly, almost play by play. And it's a unique situation where we're in Delaware, where you only have two Division I
Right.
colleges or universities, particularly in athletics. So the opportunity to compete against, University of Delaware is always a big one.
Mm-hmm.
On the opposite ends, you got a PWI and an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
You got University of Delaware on the northern end, and you've got Delaware State on the
Right.
southern end. And in this particular case for me, being a University of Delaware alum and now coaching at Delaware State, it's full circle. So I'm excited about it. Last year's game was a great game. We came down to Newark, played well, led most of the game till late in the game. Put a little fear in them. And obviously, Coach Inglesby does a great job and actually has one of my former high school players there playing for him, Jair Davis, who made some big shots at the end. And we ended up losing. But a great game.
Yeah.
And we are looking forward to maybe returning the favor this year when they come down.
Is Davis still with him?
He is still with them.
So I'm sure part of your preparation is going to be to make sure we shut him down.
Well, we did, and we did a nice job last year. I thought we did a really good job. And
Until
of
the
course,
end.
they made some adjustments down the stretch, and they won the game.
And that's what good coaching is all about. Even though we're not giving the UD coach any credit, but I was so impressed with the first part of the game until I was starting to rear up like, oh my, we're gonna take this. I wasn't expecting to. I really wasn't expecting to win that game. I was expecting for us to coaches there, and it's gonna take a while. But you all were playing so strong in the front end of that game that I'm sitting here saying, wait a minute. Maybe I misread this one, and still I think I did, but the adjustment is what really made the difference.
Yeah, well, and you don't want to settle for any moral victories. Obviously, again, I'm a competitor, and I hate to lose, and so the outcome of the game obviously impacted us. But when you think about it, it was a win for us to come up to Newark, to play as well as we play, to show the way that we showed, to have the support that we had in the stands from our following. It was just a good night. For Delaware basketball, whether you were Delaware State or University of Delaware, and unfortunately somebody had to lose.
Yeah, and that's all right. That's all right because and that's what sports is all about. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
That's right.
But I love your spirit in that you go to win.
That's right.
That's what you go for. And as we are preparing now for the season, one of the things that you were raised in church, Christian parents. What drives you? I'm gonna shift the conversation just for this one part because I think people need to know that you've been through the struggles of life, whatever they may be. But there's something that probably pushes you to do what you do. And if you could just share that with us today, what drives you?
Sure. Well, I mean, number one, as I said, I'm a competitor, no matter what it is, and I share it with our guys. And again, athletics happens to be the platform that I'm able to use to maybe impact and make a difference in the lives of young people. There was always somebody when I was growing up on the East Side community that poured into me. I mean, I had brothers and fortunately had a father in the house. So I had that at home. But I also had big brothers on the street corners, big brothers in the rec centers as you are playing and you're out in the parks and you're out in the street. So I had a lot of people that looked out for me and poured into me. And I'll never forget that. And I'll always want to give back. So I have an opportunity to do that through the game of basketball. I've been doing it now for over 30 years, coaching and mentoring and just trying to be a role model and pour into young people that it's just something that I enjoy doing. And quite honestly, it doesn't feel like work because it's what I've always done, you know, and I think one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much.
Good. Well, we're going in towards the MEAC now. I love MEAC, period. But I'm just going to be interested to know in your head of the teams in MEAC, which team do you feel you're going to have to make sure you bring your A game to?
Well, the MEAC is a very competitive league. It's a men's league. It's tough. It's physical. A lot of trash talking that happens and goes on too. For the past 3 years since I've been involved, Norfolk State has been at the top.
Okay.
And Coach Rob Jones has done an outstanding job in the league, even on the national stage. He's been to the NCAA tournament a couple times. He's got that program heading in the right direction. They're doing things with NIL. They're doing things with facilities. He's on the national speaking circuit, and they're winning games. And their young players are graduating. Many of them are going on to play. And so that's not a commercial for NCAA.
I understand.
But they are the measuring stick. And then most recently, last year, I think Howard surprised some folks and came out of nowhere with Kenny Blakeney and the outstanding job that he's done. And I knew Kenny from his days. He was an assistant at University of Delaware years ago. And he's got that thing going at Howard, same deal, NIL. They're bringing in, raising funds, improved facilities, schedules, top notch. Lavelle Moten down in North Carolina Central. The list goes on and on. There's some great coaching in the league. But right now, to get back to your question, Norfolk State would be the one that I
would be the one. Yeah, and as you said, you're gonna prepare for all of them.
Absolutely.
But that's just the one that's on your circuit. Because I was thinking, what question could I ask you that would really tell me where your mind is as it relates to MEAC? Because that's, at the end of the day, some of the larger schools that you're going to play is not going to count towards, it'll count towards your loss and wins, but not towards getting to the tournament and things of that nature. It's MEAC that really determines that.
So that's it. Our goal is to win the MEAC.
Okay.
And if we can win the MEAC, then we can get to our next goal, which is the NCAA tournament. Those games that we'll play early, the non-conference games, they are to prepare us for the battles that we'll face in the MEAC, the Norfolk States, the Howards, the North Carolina Centrals, and UMESs of the world. So,
which gym do you like to, beyond Delaware State, which gym do you like to play in the most in MEAC?
I think the atmosphere at Howard may be the best right now with the band going and a lot of energy in the gym. So that might be the best place to play, at least where we've had the most fun. This year on our non-conference schedule, we will have the opportunity. We're going to travel down to Atlanta, and we're playing in the HBCU Classic. We're going to play Grambling University, and we're playing at Morehouse.
Wow.
So just thinking about that context and really excited
What
about
is the date of that one?
That will be November 17th, I believe is the date. It's a Friday night. It's HBCU Classic. Look forward to details once we get all of them, and we'll make sure we get it out. But to compete against Grambling at Morehouse, is going to be pretty exciting.
That's interesting, and because when you said that, I said, okay, that's going to have to be some. I'm going to have to go to that game because that's something I really would want to come to. But it's November the 17th, which is our founding day, and I'm going to be out of town speaking. But that is going to be a good game. I'm going to look forward to hearing how that turned out as well. I'm excited about what you're doing. I'm excited about where you are. I just need you to keep coming back every year, just saying this is where we are. We know where you are, but I want the community to see. I want the community to know that you are really changing things, shifting things, and making things happen at Del State, and we appreciate that. Coach, for that person that may be out there saying, I want to donate to the scholarship program or whatever, I want to help in any kind of way, I want to get tickets, is there I know the website is going to come up, but is there a number where they can get in touch with your office to be able to, you can direct?
Absolutely. So I'll start by giving you my personal cell phone number, if that's okay.
Sure.
And that would be 302-250-3010. My email address is swaterman, that's first initial S, Waterman, my last name, @desu.edu. So you can reach me in either one of those spots. And then on our website, there's a link that you can actually click on to athletics and you can donate, there's a drop box and you can click on men's basketball and you can make the donations directly to our basketball program.
Yeah, and I hope that those of you who are watching recognize that it does take money in order to continue these programs. And I know the university is funding, but where Stan wants to take this team, we're going to need more. And I'm going to use the word we because I feel as a part of the success, not so much of Stan's program, but of Delaware State at large. And you work in the president, Tony Allen, which we'll be bringing on the show soon too, is just doing a phenomenal job there, doing some great things, and you are just adding to that. Tell your coaches, we appreciate what they do, and your team, we appreciate what they do. And when I'm up in the stands cheering, know that we got your back 100%.
Thank you.
Those of you who want to get tickets to Delaware State basketball games, go on the website. They're there. We should show up. We should show our hometown hero. We have several of them, but we have Stan here before us today. we can go down a Route 1. It's only, 45-minute ride at the most. If I'm driving, about 25 minutes. But I hope no cops are paying attention to that. But please show him that we appreciate what he's doing. Stan, tripled your wins. I'm going to keep that as the theme. Many said you couldn't make it, you wouldn't make it, you just that high school person. Tripled his wins, and that's progress at another level. As we now move towards the end of this time together, is there anything you want to share on your own that maybe I forgot to ask and you just want to share? But it's up to you. Anything you want to.
Yeah, sure. So, and again, thank you again for this opportunity, and thank you for the time. And I certainly appreciate your support being there from day one. And certainly we appreciate it and recognize it and want to acknowledge that. As we grow at Delaware State with the basketball program, the athletic program, and as a university, I mean, I've sat here for an hour and talked about what we're doing on the court. I also want the community and want you to know how well our guys are performing in the classroom. Yeah. We had a overall GPA of 3.0 last semester, the highest GPA of all of our men's athletic teams. So I'm excited about that. Excellent. That was a part of the turnaround, the culture turnaround, to get guys in there who are doing the work in the classroom, who are going to graduate and represent Delaware State University well. Again, the support for our program in particular, please come on down to our gym. We want to make it a tough place to play. I want you to pack the place. Come on out and support us. Exciting brand of basketball, fun basketball. The band's going to be jumping. The cheerleaders will be dancing. And I promise you, we will put on an exciting brand of basketball. You'll have a great time out. Please come down and support us. Alumni, we're trying to bring back our alums and get them to support us. And I know tons of people, I see them all the time. I'm a DSU alum. I'm supporting DSU. We want to see you. We want to hear from you. Please come back. Be a part of the university and what we're trying to develop and make happen down there. And that would be appreciated. But thank you again for the opportunity. It is unbelievable. Always happy to be here and have time to talk with you.
Well, this is great. And listen, I want to add one thing he didn't say. When you get there and you're on there, to make that a tough place for other people to play at, talk some trash. Talk trash. Let the refs, everybody know I'm DSU, and we're here to support them, so we really appreciate that.
And I almost forgot, I brought something for Dr. Curry to put on to make sure that they know when he's out there loud and proud. He doesn't have to say it. It'll be across his chest.
And you know what? I'm going to wear this right away. And I'm going to tell you why I wear this right away. Because this is the first Delaware State shirt or whatever I've received or even purchased that wasn't red.
Wow.
I am glad to be here because I can't stand wearing red. Tony Allen saw me in the stand one because I wore a red sweatsuit one time to a game. He said, wow, look at you with that red on. You look good. I said, for Del State, I'll do a whole lot of things. But this time, I'm going to wear this as if this is just the greatest thing I've ever got. So thank you very much, Coach. I really appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
Good. We'll be right back.
Poverty can often act as a barrier, preventing individuals, families, and communities from reaching their full potential. In communities facing persistent poverty and high unemployment rates, the Community Economic Development Program, or CED, invests in local businesses and helps create and expand job opportunities. CED grants provide long-term solutions to poverty by ensuring that 75% of all the jobs created with CED funds are filled by individuals with low incomes and that employees are connected to critical support services. All jobs created with CED funds are intended to be high-quality positions that provide living wages, paid leave, fringe benefits, and opportunities for career growth to truly help individuals achieve economic self-sufficiency. CED projects provide startup capital, loans, equity investments, and funding for construction for a variety of industries including restaurants and commercial kitchens, manufacturing businesses, distribution centers, grocery stores, child care and home care businesses, and agricultural and environmental initiatives. Every year, CED funds are used to create and expand hundreds of local businesses and employ thousands of individuals across the country. And for every $1 of CED funding that is used on a project, more than $6 from other sources is invested back into low-income communities. To learn more about CED, visit www.acf.hhs.gov/OCS/help.
And we're back. Great show. Great show. You need to call someone, go on YouTube, relook at this show again. Remember this, whenever a person can take a 0 and then turn it around the first year and then triple the second year, it speaks to commitment. It speaks to the person's heart and the person's know-how. I'm grateful that Delaware State University made that decision to bring in a Stan Waterman. While he may be just a local person that we all know from the neighborhood, the truth of the matter is, wherever he goes, it turns to gold. We're grateful, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. I'm looking forward to the great things that's going to happen. And when he comes back, I want to be able to say, not only did you triple, but you have done some things that we didn't even think you were able to do. And I think that's going to happen because we shared that on the last time that he came. I hope you'll share that with everyone, but don't forget to make sure that you spend some time going to Del State, coming up there, making sure you're a part of the games. All of those things matter. It shows the true strength of our community. Last but certainly not least, if you know of your jobs or people who can donate specifically to the athletics program, specifically to the men's program, please, let's try to donate. Let's try to support in any way we can. And if you don't have any money, all you have is enough to buy a ticket and come up to the games, do that. They appreciate it much. Until the next time we get together, may the Lord God bless you real good.